Making a sketch note makes you think very deeply about the topic. So these are the basic components of a sketch note: the people, the emotions, the letters and banners, and the layouts. Because today we are going to try Denise Yu's tech doodling and sketchnoting techniques. I attended her sketchnoting and tech doodling workshop at Writespeak Code way back in August, and I have been wanting to make a video based on that excellent workshop ever since then. So I asked her permission to share what I learned in the workshop in a video on my channel, and I'm so happy she said yes. So that's what we are going to do today. I'm going to share the techniques that I learned from her workshop, and I'm also going to try to implement them into one sketch note. So what is a sketch note? The definition that I found online that I think best describes what a sketch note is that sketch notes are rich visual notes created from a mix of handwriting, drawings, hand-drawn typography, shapes, and visual elements like arrows, boxes, and lines. To get a better idea of what a sketch note is, let's look at one of my favorite examples. This is a sketch note that Denise made to raise awareness around energy usage in the public cloud data centers. And the reason I love this sketch note is because it manages to convey a very important topic and a lot of information about the topic in a very creative and engaging manner. I will leave a link to the image in the description box down below so you can go and check it out and see how awesome this sketch note is. Okay, so now that we have discussed what a sketch note is, let's discuss how she makes those sketch notes. So starting with the tools. For this video, I'm going to use my iPad and my Apple Pencil for the simple reason that I can record the iPad screen and use the recording in this video. But that is not a requirement at all. You can use whatever stationery is available to you, like just a pen and paper or colored markers or sketch pens. Anything that's available to you will work just fine. Then the next question to answer is, what do you doodle about, or what do you make sketch notes of? And at least from her blog, I think Denise sketch notes the conference talks she attends or any concept that she's learning right now. So I guess the answer is anything that you want to kind of convey in a visual manner, or anything that you're learning and you want to retain it better and you think converting it into a visual will help you learn it better, can be made into a sketch note. As for her process, I found this article that she wrote explaining how she creates the sketch notes, and according to the article, the first step is to research. So for whatever topic you want to make a sketch note of, you go on YouTube and to try to find out a talk or a video which explains that topic, and then start thinking of the structure of the sketch note as you're listening to the topic. If you don't find a good enough YouTube video, you can always consult the official documentation of whatever project you're trying to learn, or you can ask a subject matter expert if you have access to them. Then the second step is to make a rough draft of the concept and then get it reviewed by a subject matter expert. Then the third step is to actually start drawing it on paper. The fourth step is to digitize the drawing, and the fifth step is to color it. And then the final step is to publish the drawing. So I'm going to follow this process, but with a minor tweak, which is I'm going to skip step 3, which is drawing it on paper, and I'm going to make a digital drawing on my iPad just because I can record the screen and I can use the footage in this video. So step 1 is research. So I first need to figure out what I want to make a sketch note of. And when I was thinking about what topic do I want to explore, especially in this video, when trying out the doodling techniques, I thought about the web development Udacity course that I'm taking, and I thought it would be interesting to convert one of those topics into a sketch note. And the topic I have chosen is how APIs work, and I already have the video for the topic on Udacity, so I think I'm all set with the research process. I already have my source material ready. Then step 2 is the rough draft. So this is the step where I want to incorporate the doodling techniques that I learned at the Writespeak Code workshop. So the first technique she shared with us is how to draw people. So we start off with the simplest ones, which are stick people. Then we move on to star people. And then my favorite, tooth people. Once we have the people, we move on to emotions. So the technique she taught us is that draw a 3x3 matrix, and then on the x-axis you draw the mouth shapes, and on the y-axis you draw the eye shapes, and then you draw faces in each of those cells, and then you combine the eyebrow shapes and the mouth shapes. And then you combine the people and the emotions to form characters. And then the next step is letters and banners. So I'm just going to sketch a few lettering techniques. And then the final thing is layouts. So this is where you decide how you're going to structure the information on the page. So the types of layouts are a path, or a comic book strip, I guess, or a grid. So these are the basic components of a sketch note: the people, the emotions, the letters and banners, and the layouts. And then to bring it all together, you come up with low fidelity metaphors to explain the concept or to map the concept to something that the audience already is familiar with. For example, this is the metaphor that I drew during the workshop. The prompt was to show load balancing in an easy to understand manner, and I thought about 3 interconnected pots, and then you put water in one pot and then it moves to the other pot so that the load in one pot is balanced across the 3 pots, which I think is pretty easy to understand. Okay, so now let's put all of these components together in a sketch note to explain how APIs work. So this is the video on Udacity that I want to convert into a sketch note. So I've already watched the video, I know what it is. The metaphor that they are using to explain APIs is the experience of when you go to a bank to withdraw money. So the way they use that metaphor is that client-server communication through APIs is like going to a bank and asking the bank teller to give you the money from your account. So you don't directly interact with the bank vault, you go through the bank teller. So basically the concept is that the client and the bank teller and the vault. The client sends a withdrawal request to the bank teller. The bank teller checks if the client has that much money in the vault. If yes, then the teller withdraws that money and gives it to the client. Now for the final part, which is publishing it and sharing it on social media. So I'm going to do that now. So that's it. The sketchnote is live on Twitter. I have been practicing sketchnoting ever since the workshop, and I've shared a few of them on Twitter. I always have a really good time making them, and I find that I understand the concepts better when I process it in the form of sketchnotes. The thing is, making a sketchnote makes you think very deeply about the topic. So it just engages different parts of your brain, like the logical and the creative parts of the brain, and you just end up spending more time processing the information that you're trying to present. So I think that is why it helps me learn new concepts more easily. So I'm very grateful to Denise for conducting the workshop and for teaching us the techniques and for giving me a fun, creative way to engage in technical information. And I hope you liked this video. I hope you implement the techniques. I will leave the link to her art and her blog, which is far better than what I just did, and I will also leave a link to her workshop slides, so definitely go check it out. Go follow her on Twitter, go look at her art. It is so beautiful and so creative and so fun. That's all for this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.